मधुर 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 बाजे मधुर 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 बाजे मधुर 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 बाजे गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल निताई गौर हरि बोल बहु कोटि चंद्र जिनी वदन उजाला गाला देसे बनमाला कोरे झलमाला शिवा ओ सुखना हृदय प्रेम गद गद ठाकुर भगति विनोदा देखे गौरा रसंपारा शिव जय ओ जय गौरचंदे आरती शोभा जानवी ततवाने जगौ मन लोभा जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरा भक्तवृंद जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरा भक्तवृंद जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौरा भक्तवृंद Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Radha Madhava जय राधे जय राधे जय राधे जय श्री राधे जय जगन्नाथ स्वामी जगन्नाथ बलदेवा जय सुभद्रा नित्य गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल नित्य गौर हरि बोल नित्य गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल नित्य गौर हरि बोल जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय गुरुदेव 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 जय जय गुरुदेव निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे
भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद महाराज की जय नित्य लीला प्रविष्ट अष्टोत्तर सुशित भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर श्री प्रभुपाद महाराज के जय गौर के सदा बाबा के महाराज के जय सच्चिदानंद भक्ति ठाकुर के जय गुरु परंपरा की जय अनंत कोटि वैष्णविंद के जय नामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर के जय प्रेम से गौ जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद के जय जय श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरी गोधन के जय नवदीप माया धाम के जय मथुरा वृंदावन श्री द्वारका पुरुष विद्यापुर धाम के जय पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र श्री जगन्नाथपुरी धाम के जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा देवी की जय श्री श्री राधा माधव जी की जय श्री श्री निताय कुल निताय गौर सुंदर के जय गंगा माँ यमुना मय के जय वृंददेव भक्त देवी के जय हरिनाम संकीर्त यज्ञ के जय हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र के जय इस्कॉन बाल्टीमोर यात्रा के जय निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि ऑल ग्लोरीज assembled devotees हरे all glorious assembled devotees हरे कृष्णा all glorious assembled devotees हरे कृष्णा all glory Shri Sugar and Gauranga all glory Shri Prabhupada नमस्ते नरसिंहाया नमस्ते नरसिंहाया नमस्ते नर प्रह्लाद दाहिने Nobody playing? Yeah. हिरण्यकाशी पूर्वक्षः शीलटाङ्कानखालाये इतो न सिंह परतो न सिंहायितो यतो यतो यामि ततो न सिंहाये न सिंह हृदये न सिंहा Bahi Nasimha Radhaye Nasimha Bahi Nasimha Radhaye Nasimha Narasimha Made Sharana Prapade Narasimha Made Sharana Prapade Tava Kara Kamalavare Nakham Adbhuta Shinga Dalita Hiranyakashipu Dhanubhinga Keshavadita Narari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Tava Keshavadita Narare Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Keshavadita Jai Jagadisha Hare Jaya Nasimhadev, Jaya Nasimhadev, Nasimhadev, Jaya Nasimhadev. Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha, Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha, Lakshmi Narasimha, Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha. Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj. Nitai Gora Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. विनाश लक्ष्मण भगवान के प्रहलाद महाराज की जय निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you everyone to coming to New Kalinagam Dham, Baltimore, the board of Lord Nitai Gaur Sundar, Jagannath Baldev Subhadramai, the most beautiful Shri Radha Madhav. First, thank you Pujaris for dressing deities so nice, so we can have loud Haribol for them, please. Today Prashadam was cooked by dear Pancha Tattva Prabhu, so it'll be very wonderful Prashadam. We can loud Haribol for him, please. Today we have one sponsor, Krishna Venu Prabhu and Jalita Mata is sponsoring for Ramachandra's birthday. Where is Ramachandra? Where is Ramachandra? Is he hiding? What do we say, everybody? Hare Krishna to you. Hare Krishna to you. Hare Krishna to Ramachandra. Hare Krishna to you. Haribo. It feels like newly born when Mataji and Prabhu brought him here in front of deities, and now look at him, he's getting strong and taller and wonderful bhakts. So thank you for being part of this congregation. Also, I'd like to welcome, I think our temple is getting really complete today. We have one of the most senior devotees here, Pradyum Prabhu Damodar Mataji is back here. So loud Haribol for them. Please. Pradyum Prabhu, please come here, Prabhuji. And Damodar Mataji, please come here. And of course, Prabhuji, please. And then, of course, Dayasindhu Prabhu are all smiling. Dayasindhu Prabhu is also here. Haribol, welcome, Prabhuji. Last week we were Survi Mataji, and they were back, Dr. Gupta. So everything is getting complete now. So thank you. So I think upcoming program. Thank you. Upcoming program next week is Christmas, which is Sunday. So of course we are planning to have a beautiful program here as always. You know, Jesus Christ, Prabhupada said Christ is Sanskrit means Christos, another Krishna. So he's an empowered incarnation of Krishna. So we should celebrate that one in a Krishna conscious manner also. That spot is there for that one. So we'll have a nice program. So please be part of the festivity there, and we'll have a wonderful feast cooked by none other than Sankirtan Yagya Prabhu in a Christmas way. Haribol. So I think everybody knows about our January 1st big celebration. The day before January 31st, we'll have a kirtan going on midnight. I think start at 6 p.m. It's like 6-hour kirtan. So those who are available, please come and be part of festivity. But the next day is a big program. Our none other Pushpa Abhishek, where we throw up 10,000 rose petals on their lordships, and then devotees get to celebrate for that. And then those petals will go on devotees, and they play Phoolon Ki Holi, we call it, for that one. So that's it. So now I think after we have two programs right now. First is a special drama done by our Sunday school kids. Then after the lecture, so we'll do lecture introduction later. His Grace Hari Krishna Bhakti Mataji is working very tirelessly with all the kids. So I'll give the mic to her.
Yeah, we need 2 mics actually. Hari Krishna, dear devotees, can I request all of you to please move on to that side? We need this half part of the place. Yeah, we need both the mics. Hari Krishna, this is on. Hari Krishna. Hari Krishna Prabhus. May I request you to please move on that side?
So there's I think if you get closer to this, so then.
Hari Krishna. Okay.
No, if you get closer, I think it makes sound.
Hari Krishna. Can you be all here? I don't know what to do. Hare Krishna. Am I audible? Okay. So this is a drama based on a true story, and it's a life of we are showing a life of a devotee. His name was Pigpen, and we wanted to do this drama on Prabhupada disappearance day, but it got delayed. So it's just a small offering to dear Srila Prabhupada. Our dear Srila Prabhupada epitomized this quality of compassion by turning millions of souls towards Krishna. Today, we are going to show you a glimpse of Srila Prabhupada's oceanic mercy on one such suffering soul, Pigpen. Story begins on a summer day in 1971. Devotees were getting ready for Prabhupada's arrival in Paris when there was a knock on the temple door. Devotees opened it, and there was a 19-year-old disheveled person.
Govindam Hari Purusham Namaham Bhajami Govindam Hari Purusham Namaham Bhajami Govindam Hari Purusham Namaham Bhajami.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, how can I help you today? Food! I need food! Sure, Prabhu. Is everything okay, Prabhu? Are you okay? No, food! Prabhu, please wait here. I will get you some prasadam. Here, this is prasadam. It is offered to Krishna. I want to eat! No, you're too dirty, Prabhu. You cannot come in. You're too dirty. You cannot come in. Please! No, Prabhu, you're too dirty. You have to chant Hare Krishna. No problem.
So the devotee gave him the prasadam, and the boy went away. Can you help them? It's okay. Can you all go back? Come out of the scene. I'm ready. Can you take position? After some days, when Srila Prabhupada had come to Paris and he was on his morning walk near Arc de Triomphe.
Look, it's the Arc of Triumph. It's a patriotic monument. Prabhu, see that boy? He came to the temple a few weeks ago. He seems to have never taken a bath, and he seems to have also made a place for himself in the bushes. My gosh, he smells so bad. We should call him Pigpen. That's a good idea, Prabhu. Pigpen. That's a good idea, Prabhu. Get that boy! Come to the temple and we'll give you some prasadam.
Devotees picked that boy up and pushed him back into the bushes. This boy almost touched Srila Prabhupada's feet, and after they finished their morning walk, they went back to the temple.
It is said, Dehinasmin jatha dehe kaumaram jaubanam jara tatha dehantaram prapti dhirastattva namayati. This is in Sanskrit. It is said that within the body there is the proprietor of the body. The proprietor of the body is there within the body, but the body is changing from babyhood to childhood to boyhood, boyhood to youthhood. Similarly, aged man, body is
Get that boy! It's not.
Prabhupada let that boy hold on to his feet. He gave his blessing and he left.
All right, it's all right. It's all right, my boy. It's all right.
Pigpen should leave. No, Prabhupada gave him mercy. Pigpen, do you want to stay? He's on drugs. Yeah. Take him upstairs and give him a good bath. Okay.
Nobody dared to move Pigpen out of the temple since that day because they had seen how affectionate Srila Prabhupada was towards him. They cleaned him, gave him a bath, they dressed him in dhoti and kurta, and when they brought him down, devotees couldn't recognize him. He still can't speak well, but he stayed around that day and spent the night with the devotees. Devotees thought, we can't have him. He can't do anything. But he engaged himself in cleaning service and he became dear to the devotees. And when devotees used to ask him,
Prabhu, how are you doing?
a couple week later, devotees planned to, can someone come and hold the curtain? A couple week later, devotees planned to go on traveling Sankirtan. They were all arranging items into the vehicle. They packed the things and went inside and saw Pigpen sitting in the front passenger seat. Pigpen insisted on going on Sankirtan.
Prabhus, we should go on Sankirtan today! Yay! Jai Srila Prabhupada! Sankirtan! Let's load the books into the van! Properly. Should we take him? Yeah, we should give him a chance. Yeah. He can clean the van. Yeah. Pigpen, you can come.
And they all went on Sankirtan. As soon as the van stopped, Pigpen jumped out of the van and started distributing books.
Grab him! He'll get us arrested! How do we get him? Never mind. He'll get scared and come back in a few minutes.
Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada,
Jaya
Prabhupada,
Prabhupada, Jaya
Jaya. Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Nittai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Hey, look! Pigpen's bag is empty. What did he do with it? He probably dumped them. No, I saw him distribute it. What did he do with them, Pigpen? What did he tell them? Yeah, tell us, Pigpen. I gave them away. I told Prabhupada save me. Prabhupada save me. Prabhupada save me.
That was Pigpen's mantra. He finished distributing the full bag of books by this mantra. Prabhupada had transformed him. The transformation in Pigpen's heart because of the touch of Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada transformed that boy by rubbing his head. It's all right. It's all right, my boy. It's all right. Who can understand what Srila Prabhupada gave during those 20 seconds that the boy was holding on to Srila Prabhupada's feet in the temple room will transform that dish bum into such a big book distributor. Pigpen's speech cleared up. He started talking nicely and he became a big book distributor and started giving classes. He was initiated as Rasada Das and for many years served in France. A year later, he moved to New York and distributed books there. All glories to Srila Prabhupada mercy. All glories to Srila Prabhupada mercy that transformed the Jagai and Madhai of the modern era. Jai Srila Prabhupada. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. So thank you all. I would like to introduce the team. They had worked very hard. Adi as Prabhupada, Rama as devotee, Jagdish also as one of the devotee, Vedansh, our main character, Pigpen, Keshav also as one of the devotee. These kids, they really worked hard. All the props which you saw, they have done themselves. I didn't help them at all. And Adi really did very nice. He arranged all the audio. So thanks, Adi. And Keshav wrote the script. It was his idea. So please give your blessing that they can... they can follow Prabhupada and help in spreading Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. I think thank you, Shyam Bhakti Mataji, for empowering and doing all this. Round applause for all the kids, please, and Mataji, Haribo. We can come back to the original position, which we were there back to Golak Vrindavan. Right now, this is the place to come. So it's just amazing that, Krishna conscious creates such a big creativity there. I couldn't believe the kids did all these props, everything else there, and the audios, all the stuff, how wonderfully prepared itself. So Prabhupada always said that, these kids are the future. And the more we involve them in these kind of activities, their mind won't go astray at all. Their mind will stay focused. Otherwise, you see that if you let the kids stay home or something, then they will ultimately go somewhere else, video games, everything else there. But otherwise, they'll be completely focused. If you see these kids, I saw Adi and also Jagdish, everybody. They've been working tirelessly, like upstairs. The room was a mess. I said, who made a mess there? And I saw that so beautifully they were working on the nice tree, everything, and somebody actually accidentally messed up the tree. They said, Prabhu, we need to get a tree or something. So much anxiety. So this shows that, if the kids are put in the proper place, they will stay focused and they'll be a very big asset for the temple and Sri Prabhupada's missions for that. So great job, everybody. It was wonderful. So thank you so much. So now we come to for the lecture today. Devotees can come forward. I think there's a space here. They can come, sit here, and sit here. So today's lecture is given by His Grace Vanshivardhan Prabhuji. Haribo. Vanshivardhan Prabhuji doesn't need an introduction. He's an amazing devotee. The whole family is a very wonderful Vaishnavity kids. I've seen him over the last 7 to 8 years, how wonderfully the family has, by persistence of services, reading books, chanting, and attending the programs. They become into first-class devotees. He got initiated by His Holiness Radharani Maharaj, and now he's running a wonderful Bhakti Vriksha in their house, where I think 15 to 20 devotees are coming there regularly, and all of them have very wonderful things to say. He's very humble and very loving, both the whole family. So, and he's a lot of Shastra knowledge. So, thank you, Vanshivardhan Prabhuji, for coming here.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. My voice is good, yeah. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. By Providence, my voice is not that good, so I won't be able to sing Kirtan. So due to shortage of time, we'll just offer Mangalacharan and then we'll begin our discussion. So Mangalacharan means, Mangala means auspicious, and before we study the book of Bhagavad Gita, everyone is aware of the book Bhagavad Gita, but without the blessings of the previous teachers, we cannot understand even a single word from the book. So if anyone has read the Bhagavad Gita that is there on the shelf, the writer, the translator, our Srila Prabhupada, the kids who wonderfully played the drama today. It was very heart-touching, and I will say this is some kind of transcendental arrangement. The topic is directly related to the kids' drama today. So Prabhupada, if you see the introduction, he chooses to offer praise to all his teachers before even attempting to translate. So this is the mood for every single devotee whenever we read Bhagavad Gita or we do any Krishna conscious activity, is to offer our humble prayers to the teachers, because without them we are nowhere. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वतदेवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यादेशतारिणे जय श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा. So today we'll be reading chapter 7, text 25 and 26. We will be discussing briefly. I'd like to humbly offer my prayers to so many senior devotees in front of me, sitting very humbly. I'm feeling very shy actually to sit in front of such exalted devotees. They are very, very superior to me, both materially and spiritually. I've just begun my spiritual journey maybe a few months ago, but they've been very kind and showering a lot of mercy. So I'm humbly seeking their blessings. So whatever we are going to discuss today is simply what Prabhupada is trying to teach us through his purports, and it won't be a philosophical class. So nobody will be put into sleep. So we'll try to understand the principle from these two verses through a pastime from Krishna book. Some of you might have already heard, we have discussed in the recent past, but Krishna Katha is never boring. How many ever times we hear, Krishna will inspire us to understand something new every single time. Bhagavatam explains that anyone who hears Krishna Katha with utmost receptivity, meaning, oh, I have already heard, what is so new about it? Maharaj Parikshit, he heard Srimad Bhagavatam. Thank you, Prabhuji. Maharaj Parikshit heard Srimad Bhagavatam out of so much intensity. He had 7 days to live. I mean, how many of us can say that I have so many days to live? None of us can. We don't know how long we are going to live, but there is always some hope. Okay, I'll live 60, 70 years, 80 years. But Maharaj Parikshit knew that he's going to live only for 7 days. And he heard Srimad Bhagavatam with so much intensity. He was a perfect person to sit and hear, and Srila Sukadeva Goswami was a perfect person to speak Srimad Bhagavatam. It was a perfect combination. And to the extent Maharaj Parikshit was curious, and every single word he was hearing as though that is the last thing he wanted to hear. He did not eat, he did not sleep. If we can hear Krishna Katha with so much intensity, what will Krishna do? When we hear Krishna Katha through our ears, Krishna, seeing the receptivity of the person's heart, Krishna enters through sound vibration, through the person who is very humbly hearing, and goes into the heart of the person's sitting and hearing and cleanses that person's heart. So if we can just give the next half an hour, switch off our phones and simply listen to the sound vibration directly coming from the disciplic succession, this is a guarantee given by Prabhupada. Our hearts will transform. So text 25 is Naham Prakasha Sarvasya Yogamaya Samavrita Moodoham Abhijanati Loko Mam Ajam Avyayam. This is Lord Shri Krishna speaking to Arjuna. I am never manifest to the foolish and unintelligent. For them, I am covered by my internal potency, and therefore they do not know that I am unborn and infallible. So many of us have this question, can you show me God? Right? Many of us have this question even before I was introduced. When people speak about God, bring God in front of me, then I'll believe it. This is a very common question, right? Now, Srila Prabhupada's transcendental purport. It may be argued that Sri Krishna was visible to everyone when he was present on this earth 5,000 years ago. Then, how can it be said that he was not manifest to everyone? But actually, he was not manifest to everyone. When Sri Krishna was present here, were only a few people who could understand him to be the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In the assembly of the Kurus, when Shishupal spoke against Sri Krishna, Krishna being elected president of the assembly, Bhishma supported him and proclaimed him to be the Supreme Lord. Similarly, the Pandavas and a few others knew that he was the Supreme, but not everyone. He was not revealed to the non-devotees and common man. Therefore, in the Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna says that but for his pure devotees, all men consider him to be like themselves. Sri Krishna was manifest only to his devotees, reservoir of all pleasure. But to others, to the unintelligent non-devotees, he was covered by his internal potency. In Srimad Bhagavatam, Queen Kunti prays in 1.8.19, it is said that the Lord is covered by the curtain of Yogamaya, and thus ordinary people cannot understand him. The Yogamaya curtain is also confirmed in the Ishopanishad mantra 15. Hiranmayena patrena satyasya pihitam mukam tattvam pushana aprivino satyadharmana drishtaye. O my Lord, you are the maintainer of the entire universe, and devotional service unto you is the highest religious principle. Therefore I pray. This is Swayambhuva Manu praying in Ishopanishad mantra. And he's saying, please remove the curtain of Yogamaya so that I can see your beautiful face. The Supreme Personality of Godhead in his transcendental form of bliss and knowledge is covered by the internal potency of the Brahma Jyoti. And then Lord Brahma again prays in Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, O Supreme Personality of Godhead, O Super Soul, who can calculate your potency and pastimes in this world? You are always expanding your internal potency, and therefore no one can understand you. Learned scientists and learned scholars can examine the atomic constitution of the material world or even the planets, but still they are unable to calculate your energy and potency, although you are present before them. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Shri Krishna, is not only unborn, but also avyaya, inexhaustible. His eternal form is bliss and knowledge. His energies are inexhaustible. And verse 26, Shri Krishna continues, Vedaham samatitani vartamani cha Arjuna bhavishyami cha bhutani mamtu vedana kashana. O Arjuna, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, I know everything that has happened in the past, all that is happening in the present, all things that are yet to come. And I also know all living entities, but me no one knows. These are the two verses that we'll be discussing. Now, the Supreme Lord is making things very clear. By the way, is anybody new here for the first time? Hare Krishna. So we started with that. The common question everyone asks is, can anyone show me God? But before that, we need to understand why in the first place we need to find God, right? Srila Prabhupada writes in one of his books, by nature we have to do some service. That is our nature. We cannot make anybody sit quiet like we often tend to make our children. Can you please sit here for 5 minutes and do nothing? The kids cannot. It's impossible. If the kids cannot, grown-ups cannot. Because by nature we are meant to do some service. This is what is our constitutional nature, is to do some service. So, say for example, as an adult, I would like to show some affection to my children, wife, extended family. So I work day and night. As a philanthropist, somebody would like to work and do some good for a larger community, to a nation, to a country. So the major reason why we are doing all these things is to render some service, but for what? By doing some service, we gain some pleasure. That our acharyas explained that is as rasa or mellow. Whenever we do some service for anyone in this world, we experience some pleasure. But there are unfortunately some problems with that. When we do some service to anyone, to our office boss or anybody, there are problems. Why? Our Acharya explained that it does not endure for a long time. There are two problems. Bhogatyaga and Chapala Sukha. Bhogatyaga means it's you experience for some time. Say for example a businessman, he works all week, day and night, putting all his effort just to please his boss, his extended family, and then towards the end of the week on Friday or Saturday, he's totally exhausted. I would like to go probably to some vacation. I like to take some break, so then I'll be fine. But then after coming back from the vacation, he again goes back to the same problem. So this is back and forth. Bhoga and Tyaga keeps going back and forth. This is what we are all doing, no matter what business we are doing. And Chapala Sukha, flickering happiness. Right? Everyone experiences some happiness for some time in whatever occupation we are engaged in, and then there is some misery. Misery is caused by our family members, extended, some person in our office will say something, right? Then misery is caused by natural disturbances, misery is caused by other living entities around us. So many ways we fall into misery. Srila Narad Muni says in Bhagavatam, just like how we experience miseries without having to ask for, happiness also comes. So we don't have to naturally endeavor for happiness. Right? Everyone chases after happiness. Oh, if I get this thing, I'll be most happy. Right? If I get this thing during Black Friday offer, I'll be happy. Right? This is the general tendency. But Narad Muni explains that however, nobody wants sorrow, by the way. Nobody wants to be distasteful in their life. Nobody experiences or wants something bad in their life. But that automatically comes without even we asking. So similarly, happiness also comes. But the problem is we are going after happiness in our life and we are experiencing misery. So, Chapala Sukha, flickering happiness. And because of this, ultimately man or woman is frustrated. Nobody is happy because everything is temporary in this world. And then finally we come to a point where we say, life is miserable. There is no one called God existing. And we come to a point stating that because I am experiencing so much misery, there cannot be a person called God. Leave alone person called God. There cannot be God at all. He cannot be a person. And then people either become an atheist or they consider that there is no person like God. Everything is coming from void. Right? This is the conclusion people come into. But now, Krishna, we saw that he is saying, I am never manifest to the unintelligent. Naham prakasha sarvasya. This is very interesting. Krishna is speaking, he is not taking Arjuna to a secret room and locking up the room and speaking the Bhagavad Gita, by the way. He is speaking Bhagavad Gita in front of, if you see the picture, he is speaking in front of millions of soldiers. And he is saying, Naham prakasha sarvasya yogamaya samavrita. Even though Krishna is personally present in front of so many people, Prabhupada is saying in the purport, many people couldn't see who Krishna was. Leave alone the Kauravas, leave alone the other opposite party. Even the Yadu dynasty, it is explained in Bhagavatam, many people within the Yadu dynasty couldn't recognize who Krishna was. We will see in this short story, how is that Krishna never manifests to people, but he will manifest to only certain special people. Why? So, within Krishna's pastimes, after Krishna kills Kamsa, Kamsa had two wives. And Kamsa was a dear friend of Jarasandha. Jarasandha and Kamsa were demons. Meaning, demons means not meaning that they have two horns and big tail. That's the demon that we are generally exposed to by this material world. But according to the principles of Bhagavad Gita, demon means demoniac nature or heart. everything is finally pointing towards our consciousness or our heart. Demoniac nature means our qualities. What kind of quality I'm developing? So Jarasandha and Kamsa were very dear friends. And as soon as Jarasandha knew that Kamsa was killed by Krishna, Jarasandha was very angry. Why? See, generally, in this material world, people become friends based out of common interests. Say, for example, I like to play cricket. I used to. Lot. And then if somebody liked to play cricket, obviously he'll become my dear friend. Right? Common interests, we become friends. But then, when there is something that is not common, the same person becomes my enemy. That's the material world. So Jarasandha and Kamsa were friends, not for being real friends, but they had common interests of exploiting people. But then when Kamsa was killed, Jarasandha became very angry. Not for feeling bad that Kamsa was killed, but he had something else. Kamsa's wives were Jarasandha's daughters. 2 daughters. And Jarasandha was so mad that his daughters had become widows. And in Vedic culture, when women become widows, according to Vedic culture, they have to have protection. So they go to their father's home. So when Jarasandha heard this, he was so furious, he sent millions of soldiers to kill Krishna. He said, I have to finish Krishna. But then when the soldiers went to Mathura city to kill Krishna and Balaram, Krishna had his own army. And Balaram and Krishna, I'm paraphrasing, it's a long dialogue, but Krishna and Balaram, they discuss and they send their soldiers. They had a very small army compared to Jarasandha. Jarasandha had a huge army. And the Mathuravasis had a small army. And as soon as the conch shell of Krishna's army was blown, it was so transcendental that Jarasandha's army were trembling just by the sound of the conch shell. We can hear the pujaris blow conch shell, right? It's very auspicious if somebody blows conch shell. And Jarasandha, as soon as he saw Krishna, he started criticizing him. Oh Krishna, you're a cowherd boy. You're not a Kshatriya. Kshatriyas are meant to fight in the army. You're a cowherd boy. Not even a cowherd boy, your father is a Vaishya. You're meant to be in some agriculture thing. What are you doing here? And he started criticizing. Right? This is what demoniac mentality means. Right? Demoniac mentality means finding fault with others. Our Srila Prabhupada's Guru Maharaj, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur says, before finding fault with others, let's examine our own heart. We have so much of fault within our heart. One lifetime is only not enough before finding fault with others. We have to re-examine ourselves time and again before finding fault with others. Am I really perfect? So we can learn from Jarasandha. Jarasandha is directly finding fault with Krishna before even Krishna could say anything. And by the way, Jarasandha, even though he was a demon, he was so knowledgeable in Shastra. This is very interesting. Demons means they are not like totally uneducated. This is totally opposite in today's world. Today's world, none of us have real understanding of anything. And Jarasandha had so much knowledge in Shastra. And still he was trying to find fault with Krishna. So, it is another lesson we can learn is that mundane, just by reading Bhagavad Gita and memorizing 700 shlokas, we cannot understand the true essence of what Krishna is trying to teach us. Just by memorizing shlokas and being a great scholar in Sanskrit, Naham Prakasha Sarvasya Yogamaya Samavrita. Krishna never reveals himself to such a person. And Jarasandha then talks to Balaram. See, Jarasandha, he's showing how knowledgeable he is in Shastra. He's saying, oh Balaram, hey, Krishna cannot fight with me, you better come and fight with us. Even if you die, you will go to heavenly planets. You know why? Because Kshatriyas, if they are killed, he is speaking Shastra. If Kshatriyas are killed, they will go to the heavenly planets. Army people, if they are killed, they will instantly be sent to heavenly planets. So Krishna and Balaram couldn't take it anymore. This guy was just speaking too much. So Krishna and Balaram, they get into the army and they very easily finish off all the soldiers. And then Balaram arrests Jarasandha. And he arrests Jarasandha, ties him with the Varuna rope and drags him to Krishna. And what does Krishna do? This is the twist. Krishna says, just relieve him and let him go. This is very interesting, right? Krishna, he didn't want to kill Jarasandha, he killed all his soldiers. We will see why. When Krishna does something, in one incident or pastime, he achieves so many things. We will see why Krishna released Jarasandha. He didn't want to do anything with him. And Jarasandha was totally ashamed. For a Kshatriya, to be dishonored is worse than being killed. For a Kshatriya. And then Jarasandha, he decided, I better not be a king only. He was feeling so much ashamed for losing against Krishna and Balaram. Because according to his mentality, they are just cowherd boys. How can I lose? Jarasandha and Kamsa were very strong. Kamsa was meant to have the strength of 10,000 elephants. So as Jarasandha. And they didn't want to, he was feeling, I better resign my job only as king. And go to forest or something and perform some austerities. This is what Jarasandha was thinking. And this is where another lesson comes from. Jarasandha, when he was going, some of his royal friends corrupted his mind again. They said, hey, by the way, Jarasandha, you know what? You lost the war not because of anything. It was just due to your past karma or your ill luck actually. You know what? You should try again. You can easily beat Krishna and Balaram. Right? So this is what happens to us also. Sometimes when we truly take up to the path of spirituality, there will be so much opposition around us. I don't want to name any persons, but oh, you're so young. You can take up spirituality when you're 50 or 60. Why are you taking up? No need to accept Guru or anything. This is too much. You don't have to do all these things when you're young. Total opposition. When Prabhupada writes, when a person becomes Krishna conscious, the entire world will be against that person. And this is what happened to Jarasandha. He was about to become transformed, and due to bad association, those same royal friends twisted his mind again. And they said, no, you can do it. You can beat Krishna and Balaram. And during this time, Krishna and Balaram enter Mathura after victory. And Jarasandha, because of bad association, he again tries to go and fight with Krishna and Balaram. Not once, not twice, not 3 times, 4 times. 17 times, can you believe it? 17 times he goes to fight against Krishna and Balaram. And every single time, he's been put into such a state where he's totally ashamed. And he still doesn't want to give up. And this is what dry knowledge can do to us. Simply mundane knowledge can make us feel that I know everything. Naham prakasha sarvasya yogamaya samavrita. We cannot understand what Krishna is saying if we become proud. We have to totally humble ourselves. We were discussing with one of the devotees recently, the first qualification that we need to have when we open up the book of Bhagavad Gita. This may sound very, very rough, but this is coming straight from our acharyas. If we need to understand one single word of Bhagavad Gita as translated by Prabhupada, we need to consider ourselves as fool number 1. Not number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6. Fool number 1. If we need to understand Bhagavad Gita or any spiritual subject matter, we need to humble ourselves. This is what Krishna himself says in Bhagavad Gita. We need to humble ourselves, and then the transcendental knowledge will be revealed to us. As soon as we think we know something better than the person who's trying to teach us, like Prabhupada and the great personalities, everything will be closed. The door is closed. We cannot understand anything. We saw in the drama the same principle, right? The other boys were thinking, who's this boy? He doesn't know anything. He is not even taken bath or anything. But Prabhupada saw it from a different perspective. Right? I forgot the character's name, but he was totally, he wanted to submit himself. He was literally acting, not even acting, he was totally humbling himself. And Prabhupada instantly gave his mercy. That's how we can get the mercy, by humbling ourselves. And Jarasandha didn't want to do it. So he again and again got smashed by Krishna and Balaram, and again Krishna will release him. And at that time, at the same time, there is another personality who was trying to attack Mathura. Jarasandha was attacking from one side, and there is another personality named Kalayavan who was attacking from the south of Mathura. And Kalayavan was a Yavana or a Mlecha. According to Bhagavad Gita, all the so-called caste system that is existing in the world is all man-made. According to Bhagavad Gita, there are just Chatur Varnam Maya Shishtam Guna Karma Vibhagasa. Guna Karma. According to our nature, we are all either Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanaprastha. These are all the Varnashram system according to our guna, according to our nature. So everyone is different. Not that because I am born from a Brahman family, I immediately become a Brahman. It is not like that. According to our nature, our qualities, we belong to a certain caste. So Brahman, Vaishya, Kshatriya, Shudra. Shudra means laborer class. Below that is Yavana, Mlecha, meaning very, they don't know anything pretty much. They do pretty much everything in this world. Unfortunately, in today's society, we are all degrading. Kalau Shudra Sambhava, it is stated in Padma Purana that by default we are all Shudras by birth. But the problem in today's world is we are all dragged even below that. Maybe I am coming from a pious family, but due to bad association, I get dragged down from Shudra to Yavana Mlecha. Right? None of us in my family members used to consume meat, but due to bad association, I may start consuming meat. I may start consuming alcohol. That's Yavana Mlecha. So we are dragged down further and further. And Kalayavan was from such a Yavana dynasty, and he was so strong. And he was going from kingdom to kingdom trying to find the most powerful person to fight. And there was nobody, according to him, powerful enough to fight. And there comes Srila Narad Muni. See, whenever a great personality like Srila Narad Muni comes, it may seem like he is doing something wrong, but he always does good for that person whom he is instructing to. So Srila Narad Muni comes, and he comes and meets Kalayavan. And he says, "Oh Kalayavan, you know what? I know the place you need to go to test your strength." And he tells him, you have to go to Mathura city, and there are these two personalities named Krishna and Balaram. You can go and test your strength there. According to what I have heard, they are very strong. And Kalayavan immediately goes to Mathura city. And he goes, and Krishna is concerned now. Why? He is in Mathura city, Jarasandha is attacking, Kalayavan is attacking from south, and Krishna, the Mathuravasis are not just mere residents for him. They are his dear devotees. So Krishna is always he wants to protect his devotees. So what he does, he is thinking now. So now if I go and fight with Kalayavan, then Jarasandha will come and finish the Mathuravasis. If I go and fight with Jarasandha, Kalayavan will come. So what to do? So now what Krishna does is, he takes help of Vishwakarma. Vishwakarma is the architect of the demigods. And he constructs a large city in the middle of the sea, which is currently called Dwaraka. And he constructs walls around the city. It's explained in Bhagavatam, it's 96 square miles. And no creature of two-legged can enter into the city. So Krishna constructs such a city, and he transfers, while the Mathuravasis are sleeping, he transfers everyone from Mathura to Dwaraka. And now Krishna knows that nobody can disturb Mathuravasis. And he instructs Lord Balaram to go and guard Mathura to Dwaraka and guard Dwaraka. And now Krishna comes out to Mathura city, and Kalayavan is waiting. And this is very interesting. Krishna comes out of Mathura to meet Kalayavan. And what does Kalayavan see? Now Kalayavan is first seeing Krishna for the very first time in his very first time he is seeing Krishna. And how is Krishna showing himself? Krishna is extraordinarily beautiful. with yellow garments, lines of Srivatsa on his chest. He has lotus petal eyes, Kaustuba jewel. Krishna is showing his four-handed form. He had a handsome forehead, beautiful smiling face. And Kalayavan is dumbstruck seeing Krishna's beauty. And he is immediately recollecting from whom? Kalayavan is, by the way, a Yavana. He has not read any scripture or anything. He had heard the same descriptions from Srila Narad Muni. When he had interaction with Narad Muni had said, oh, you go and fight with Krishna and Balaram. By the way, how do they look? Narad Muni had given exact descriptions how Krishna and Balaram look. And Kalayavan was experiencing Krishna's beauty. So he concluded, this is Supreme Lord, Lord Vasudeva. But he was very surprised. Oh, he is Supreme Lord, but he is not carrying any weapons. And he is barefoot. And he is alone. He doesn't have anybody around him. Now is the chance for me to fight with him and defeat him. So, Kalayavan starts chasing Krishna. Krishna starts running away. Kalayavan is chasing him. Krishna is running away. Kalayavan is chasing him. Krishna is running away. It appears as though Kalayavan is about to catch Krishna. Jai Shri Radha Madhav ki Jai, Jai Shri Gaurnitai ki Jai, Jai Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Mai ki Jai. So Krishna is running, Kalayavan is behind him, and Kalayavan is thinking, I'm just going to catch Krishna, but Krishna is by the way barefoot. He is not having any chariot or anything, but Krishna is teasing Kalayavan. And he's going and he's coming behind, but Kalayavan is never able to reach Krishna. It is explained in Bhagavatam that the great yogis are meditating on Krishna for ages and years and millions of years, and they are not able to catch him. And Kalayavan is trying to catch the same Krishna. And Krishna, by teasing Kalayavan, finally enters into a dark cave. Pitch dark. Nobody can see anything. And Kalayavan also enters into the cave. And we can learn that because Kalayavan was actually a Mlecha or a Yavana, he was having so many contaminations. He had so many sinful tendencies within his heart. So Krishna never reveals to such a person. That's what we read in today's verse, right? Naham prakasha sarvasya. Krishna never reveals to such a person who has contaminated heart. So Kalayavan enters into the cave, and as Krishna enters, Kalayavan also enters. And now the problem is it's pitch dark. Krishna goes to one corner and Kalayavan goes, and finally Kalayavan comes and hits something big in front of him. And he thinks, oh, this Krishna, he teased me so much running, and now how dare he comes and lies down and sleeps? This is so much more insulting to me. And he kicks and kicks and kicks. That person doesn't even wake up. How dare you, Krishna? And then suddenly a person wakes up and he's thinking, who's this guy who's kicking me? And then that person, he just opens his eyes and he sees Kalayavan standing in front of him, and right in front of him, he opens his eyes and there is bright light of fire that comes from that person's eyes, and Kalayavan is instantly burnt into ashes. And now Maharaj Parikshit, by the way, he's hearing all these things from Srila Sukadeva Goswami. We were discussing, right? How Maharaj Parikshit was rapt attention, he was hearing every single word from Srila Sukadeva Goswami's mouth. And he caught the point. Wait. Who is this guy who's lying down? And where did he come from? I mean, how did Krishna come here? And how did this person suddenly kill this Kalayavan? And who is this personality who's been sleeping? And then Srila Sukadeva Goswami explains that the person who was actually lying down, his name was King Muchukunda. And he was a great soul who was belonging to the dynasty of Lord Ramachandra, King Ishwaku. And because he was such a great devotee, right from the time of Lord Ramachandra, he was asked by the demigods back then to fight against the demons. The demigods and demons always have some fight. So King Muchukunda was called and he fought for the demigods against the demons for a long time. And he became so much so exhausted that finally Kartikeya is the son of Lord Shiva. And he is the chief of the army of the demigods. And he comes and tells King Muchukunda, you have helped us so much. Ask us anything that you want. We would like to offer you some benediction. You have fought for us and helped us for such a long time. We would like to offer you some benediction. But, except for one thing. You ask us anything except for one thing. Except for liberation. Because liberation can be given only by Lord Vishnu. That is why he is called Mukunda. Mukunda means one who awards liberation. Except for that, you ask us anything. And then King Muchukunda, he says, I don't want anything. Just give me some time to sleep. I am very tired. Right? We also feel sometimes we work for some festivals here or some services coming in the morning or in the evening. Lot of services are done by the devotees. And end of the day, what do you want? I just want to go to sleep. Right? King Muchukunda felt the same thing. He fought for so long, he just wanted to sleep. And he said, but I just want this one more benediction. If only somebody can give me this benediction, that if somebody comes and wakes me up while I'm sleeping and taking rest, I'll simply open my eyes and I should be able to demolish that person because he's come and disturbed my sleep. Because he knew about Indra. Our Acharya explained that Indra was such a person, he will go and always seek for help. Because he's always into trouble. Indra is always into trouble. So Muchukunda says, I don't want anybody to disturb me. I want just sleep. I don't want anything else. So King Muchukunda, like this, he begins sleeping. And then now Muchukunda is in total confusion. As soon as Muchukunda burnt Kalayavan into ashes, Krishna suddenly comes and stands before him in the four-arm form. And we explained how Krishna was looking. Extraordinarily beautiful with yellow garments, four-handed form, handsome forehead, beautiful smiling face, lotus petal eyes. And Muchukunda was dumbstruck. He didn't know who he was. And he first introduced himself. This is another important lesson we can learn. When we meet a superior personality, we should not ask, oh, who you are, where did you come from, so and so, right? So Muchukunda introduced himself first. So we can learn, whenever we meet some superior personality, we need to tell who we are first and then seek questions. So Muchukunda introduced himself first and then Krishna introduced himself. And then I'm paraphrasing due to shortage of time. Krishna says finally that you are my great devotee. Just to show you my causeless mercy, I have appeared. And I'm affectionately inclined towards my devotees. And now King Muchukunda is surprised. Of course, I worship Lord Vishnu, but Krishna, why you are showing so much causeless mercy to me? Of so many great devotees all around the creation. Why me of all the people? And this is where the topic comes from and the connection to the dramas that Mataji and the kids were playing today. King Muchukunda immediately remembers his interaction with Garga Muni. Does anybody know who Garga Muni is? Garga Muni was a great saint. He knew past, present and future. And Garga Muni had predicted to King Muchukunda that you will see the Supreme Personality of Godhead in near future. And King Muchukunda actually remembered and he was feeling so humbled and grateful that just by the slight contact with such a great saint like Garga Muni, Krishna, you have shown me such causeless mercy of coming in front of me. Right? Exactly the same principle, right? Just this moment's association with a sadhu, like Prabhupada, right? Exact same incidents. King Muchukunda had a moment association with Garga Muni, and what benediction he got? He got to meet the Supreme Lord face to face. Right? Everyone wants to see God. But do we have the eyes to see God? Prabhupada and our acharyas say we cannot see God. We cannot, because our heart is so contaminated and we don't have the eyes to see God. We have to see God through our ears. We can perceive Krishna when we humble ourselves, right? There are so many Vaishnavas within this temple going out and distributing books, taking their valuable time going and distributing books. But when a sincere soul, that day, I think Mataji or somebody forwarded, Nilmadhu Prabhuji also shared in the group, right? There was this person who had no connection with any temple, and he got a Bhagavad Gita in his hand, and he didn't know anybody around. He was a Jewish or a Christian, and he simply humbled himself. He was searching, simply humbled himself and searching, and Krishna revealed himself to that person. He had no connection with any devotee except for Prabhupada through his words. Prabhupada is living in this book. He has told any person who humbles himself and simply surrenders and reads even one paragraph of any of Prabhupada's books, instant connection. And that person had made Japa Mala by himself and he was chanting Hare Krishna mantra with no association. And King Muchukunda had the same fortunate association of Gargamuni, and he got the darshan of Krishna. Everybody wants to see Krishna. Everybody wants to see God. But we need to qualify ourselves. And that qualification comes by associating with the sadhu. And what does ISKCON do? ISKCON is not just a Angrezi Mandir, the famous saying that everybody thinks Krishna is some Angrezi Mandir, oh, they are trying to convert us or something like that. No. Prabhupada came to make us real human beings, from degrading ourselves to below Shudras to Yavanas and Blechas and whatnot. He has come to rescue us, to slowly elevate us. And simply by hearing, coming to the temple, hearing, associating with wonderful devotees are staying in the temple. Come in the morning times, listen to them, associate with them, chant Hare Krishna, and we will get the association of a sadhu, just like King Muchukunda got association of a sadhu. Every one of us are given the opportunity to get the association of a sadhu. And that is the only way we can perceive Krishna, or we can see Krishna. There is no other way. I can buy so many books and read. I can be a Sanskrit scholar. But Naham Prakasha Sarvasya Yogamaya Samavrita. Krishna explains that he will never reveal himself to his devotees. And then in the next verse he says, Vedaham Samatitani. He knows past, present and future. We saw in this single pastime, Jarasandh was with Krishna. Kalayavan was with Krishna. They didn't see who Krishna was. Krishna knew the present. He knew King Muchukunda's past, and he knew King Muchukunda's future also. So Krishna knows our past, present and future also. All we have to do is humble ourselves and simply follow what we have been given. And then true mercy will reside and will come on upon us. There are no previous qualifications, nothing. Just like how we saw in the drama. I'll conclude here. These are some thoughts that I'm directly borrowing from what Prabhupada has given in the purport and what I've heard from the Acharyas. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna. If anyone has any realizations or anything to share that you liked or didn't like, please feel free. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Babu. I listened to some because I got pulled over, but it was very beautiful what you were sharing from the heart. And I think that I was just thinking something that, how when we are initial devotees, we have so much enthusiasm, we come to the temple to save everything else there. And then later when we get initiated or we get more advanced, we feel that, I think we can do more service with deities, we can do service at the house or something else. But I felt that anytime when you come to the temple versus house, there's a big difference. When we come, we listen to Bhagavatam because it's like Vyasa and Srila Prabhupada, these deities are there, and we do some seva. It takes us to the next level, and our bhakti even gets stronger. Otherwise, if we stay home, then there's no need to have temples for that. So that was my realization.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji,
Hare
thank
Krishna.
you so much for a beautiful lecture.
Thank you.
So, I just had a realization, right? You mentioned that even Jarasangh was there, and Krishna only reveals himself whose heart is pure. So I remember this incident, right? For Duryodhan was there, right? Krishna revealed his universal form to him. And he was like totally mesmerized and totally with it in that particular moment. But after that, he forgot because his heart was so impure. So that is what I realized. Till the time you are really, really pure with your heart, even though you have everything around you, all the sadhus and everybody around you, but you will not get enlightenment. So you really have to start with first step, that you have to introspect yourself and realize and think about what exactly you are missing when you are progressing towards the bhakti.
Thank you,
Krishna. Hare
Mataji.
Krishna.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Yes. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank you, Anshan Prabhu. This was a wonderful class. Really appreciate that.
Hare Krishna.
Now we can prasadam downstairs. Thank you.
Yeah, I was seeing for some time. I think 200 devotees are there. Second initiation. Yeah, finally I think the 200 devotees were waiting for a long time. I think Maharaj is leaving. I'm hearing because January some devotees are going from DC, they are going to Chowpatty. January, flower festival, I think Maharaj.